Chapter 1. I once had a family. My name is Sang-ho Kim. I'm 73 years old. Right now, I live in a cold, quiet house in California. I sit by the window most of the day, watching strangers pass by. No one waves, no one stops. My phone hasn't rung in months. Sometimes I check to make sure it still works. It does. No one's calling. But I wasn't always like this. I was once a father, a husband, a worker, a man people respected, even loved. I had a family. I came to America 43 years ago with nothing but a plastic bag and a promise in my heart. I was 30. I had left my mother in Korea with tears in her eyes and a letter folded in my pocket. Make something of yourself. We believe in you. I believed in myself too, or at least I tried to. Back then, the air in America smelled different, like gasoline and fried food. The streets were loud and fast. Everything was strange. I didn't speak English well, and I often got lost. People looked through me like I didn't exist. I slept on the floor of a small apartment in Los Angeles with 4 other Korean men. We shared everything: our food, our fears, even our dreams. I used to whisper into the darkness at night. Someday I will have a home, a wife, children. They will not suffer like I did. That was my prayer. That was my dream. And slowly, painfully, I began to build it. Chapter 2. The Weight of Two Worlds. I met Jinnah at a small Korean grocery in Koreatown. She was kind, soft-spoken, with tired eyes and strong hands. She worked the night shift and went to school during the day. We both were poor, both chasing something we couldn't yet see. Our dates were simple. We shared cheap noodles in plastic bowls and walked in the park when we could afford bus fare. I didn't have flowers, just stories. She didn't have perfume, just honesty. But we laughed. We dreamed. In a world that ignored people like us, we saw each other. We married in a small church. No family, just a few friends and a borrowed suit. That night, I promised her, "You will never have to worry again. I'll take care of you. I'll give our children what I never had." I meant it with all my heart. Our first child, Hannah, was born a year later. I remember holding her for the first time. She was tiny, red-faced, and screaming. I cried too. I had never seen anything so perfect. Minjun followed 3 years later. He was quiet, always staring at me like he understood something even as a baby, but with joy came responsibility. I took any job I could find: janitor, dishwasher, busboy, construction. I cleaned toilets at midnight and delivered newspapers at 4 a.m. My hands cracked from cold water. My back ached constantly. But I didn't complain, because I had a reason. Every dollar I earned went to rent, diapers, and powdered milk. Every moment I missed with my kids, I told myself, it's for them. One day, they'll understand. But America was not kind. Customers would laugh at my accent. Some refused to talk to me at all. One man once shouted, "Go back to your country, old man," when I got his order wrong. I smiled and apologized. Not because I was weak, but because I couldn't afford to lose that job. There were nights I came home so tired I couldn't even eat. I would open the door, hear the kids giggling, and collapse in the hallway before reaching them. Jinnah would cover me with a blanket right there on the floor. She never complained either. She just kissed my forehead and said, "You're doing enough. You're a good father." But inside I wondered, was I really enough? Because every day I watched my children change. At home we spoke Korean, but outside they were American kids. They made friends who didn't look like us, didn't eat like us, didn't struggle like us. And that was the point, wasn't it? We wanted them to belong, but I never imagined how lonely that would feel. I remember one evening, Hannah was about 11. She came home from school and said, "Appa, can you not speak Korean at school?" My friends think it's weird. I stood there, holding a bowl of soup I had made for her. She looked away. I smiled gently. "Okay," I said. "I understand." That night, I went to the bathroom, turned on the faucet to hide the sound, and cried into my hands. Not because she meant to hurt me, but because I knew the distance between us had begun to grow. And no matter how hard I worked, no matter how many hours I gave, I couldn't close it. Still, I tried. I saved every penny, skipped meals, worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3. I wanted them to go to college, to live without shame, to stand tall in a room full of Americans and feel equal. When Hannah turned 15, she wanted a new phone. I couldn't afford it, so I sold my old wristwatch, one my father had given me before I left Korea. It was the last thing I had from him, but I let it go, because she smiled when she got that phone. That smile was worth more than any watch, or so I thought. To be continued. Chapter 3. The big house and the cold distance years passed like wind slipping through my fingers. Hannah graduated high school with honors. I was so proud. I ironed my only white shirt, polished my old shoes, and arrived early at the ceremony. I held a bouquet of flowers, cheaper ones from the corner store, but they were bright and fresh. When she stepped on stage and received her diploma, I stood up, clapping louder than anyone. She didn't look at me. Not once. After the ceremony, her friends took pictures with their families, fathers in suits, mothers with styled hair. I walked toward Hannah with open arms. She smiled, small, polite. Then she said, "Appa, can you wait in the car? We're going to take some pictures with my friends first." I nodded. Of course. I sat in the car, the bouquet still in my lap. I watched through the window as she laughed with her friends, hugged their parents, and walked right past me. That night, she didn't eat dinner with us. She went to a friend's house. I sat across from Jinnah, the untouched food between us, and whispered, "Do you think she's ashamed of me?" Jinnah said nothing for a long time. Then she simply replied, "She's growing up. She's trying to fit in." I didn't sleep much that night. Later, when Hannah went to college, she didn't call often, maybe once a month, maybe less. Her messages became shorter, her visits less frequent. On her rare visits, she looked around our home like it was a place she no longer belonged to. Then Minjun left for university too. The house was quiet, too quiet. I kept working, even though my knees were bad and my back had become bent. Jinnah's health began to weaken. She'd cough at night and hide it during the day. I told her to go to the doctor, but she always said, "Later. We have bills first." By now, Hannah had a job at a large company in San Francisco. She made more in a month than I had made in a year when I was her age. I remember calling her once when Jinnah fainted in the kitchen. We were scared. I didn't know who else to call. She answered, annoyed. "Appa, I'm in a meeting. Can you text me instead?" I said softly, "Your mother is sick. She needs help." She sighed. "I'll see if I can come this weekend." She didn't come. We took the bus to the hospital ourselves. Later, Hannah sent money, but no words, no visit, no touch. Minjun was worse. He had started dating a girl whose parents were wealthy Americans. When he brought her to our house once, he looked nervous. He said to her, "Sorry about the smell." My parents still cook Korean food a lot. He laughed like he was embarrassed. I watched from the kitchen doorway, my heart heavy. When they left, Jinnah sat on the couch, silent. Her hands trembled. "They are not bad kids," she said. "No," I whispered. "They are just forgetting." Then came the moment that broke everything. One day, Min Jun called me. He had just gotten married. I didn't know. He didn't invite us to the wedding. "Appa," he said on the phone, "we just wanted a small ceremony." Nothing traditional. I couldn't speak. I held the phone to my ear, but no words came. Then he added, "Also, we're buying a house, a big one, near the beach." I closed my eyes. "You and Iyama will be proud," he said. "Maybe when we settle in you can visit once, but it's a bit far." We were never invited. When Jinnah passed away a few months later, I called Hannah. She didn't answer. I left a voicemail. She didn't come to the funeral. Min Jun came, but only stayed for 15 minutes. He said he had to get back to work. He didn't even look at her face before they closed the casket. I sat alone by her grave that night. The sun was gone, the grass damp under my knees. "I'm sorry," I whispered to her. "I tried. I really tried." I didn't know what hurt more, losing her or knowing that our children had already lost us long ago. Chapter 4. Left Behind in a House of Ghosts. After Jinnah's funeral, the house changed. The silence wasn't peaceful anymore. It was heavy, thick, like a fog that never lifted. I tried to call Hannah and Min Jun more often. Sometimes I left messages, asking if I could visit or if they would visit me. Sometimes I even asked if they needed help with anything. Most of the time I heard nothing. Other times, the answers were worse. Once, when I called Min Jun, his wife answered. "Who is this?" she said coldly. "It's Sang-ho Kim," I said softly. "Oh, is this another bill or something?" she asked, and then laughed. I held the phone so tightly my fingers hurt. I told her, "No, I'm his father. I just wanted to say hello." She replied, "Tell him to stop calling. We're busy." And then she hung up. Another time, Hannah texted me from her new phone. "Appa, please stop calling me so much. I'm tired of hearing your voice. You make me sad." Her words were sharp. I didn't answer. I walked around the house feeling like a ghost. The house was full of memories, but no warmth. My own children had become strangers who left me alone in a place I built with my hands. I began to forget things. The light switch, the stove, the dates on the calendar. I would sit in my chair for hours, staring at the door, waiting for someone who would never come. Sometimes neighbors called social workers when they saw me outside, confused or cold. They asked questions about my children. Where do they live? Do they visit you? I wanted to answer, but my throat tightened. I said, they live far away. The social worker looked sad. One day, she brought a letter from the city. You qualify for senior housing assistance, she said gently. A small apartment with people your age. You can have help there. I looked at the letter, then at my home. This house had my sweat in the walls, my wife's laughter in the rooms. I couldn't leave. I couldn't leave the place where my family once lived, even if they no longer did. But the loneliness grew heavier. I started to find mistakes in the things the children left behind. Unpaid bills, forgotten clothes, empty drawers. One morning, I found a note taped to the fridge. It was from Min-jun. Appa, I'm sorry, but we can't take care of you anymore. Please understand. I sat on the floor, the note shaking in my hands. The pain was not just in words, it was in everything. Chapter 5. The Man I Was. I sit alone at night, the darkness wrapping around me like a cold blanket. The house is silent, except for the ticking clock and the quiet memories that fill every corner. I remember who I was once. I was a man with dreams, a man who crossed oceans to give his children a better life, a man who worked so hard his hands bled so his family could eat. My children do not know this man anymore. They see only the tired old face, the bent back, the slow steps. Once, I was their protector, their guide. Now, I am invisible. One evening, I called Hannah. I heard her sigh before she said, Appa, I don't have time for this. Please stop calling. I told her, I miss you. She replied coldly, we don't need you anymore. Her words cut deeper than any knife. I told her, I gave you everything. She laughed, a bitter, short laugh. Everything? You gave us a name, but you forgot to give us your time. You gave us money, but never your heart. I sat back in my chair, the phone slipping from my hand. Min-jun was no different. When I asked him for help, he said, You made your choices, Appa. Now live with them. I made mistakes too. I worked so much I missed their birthdays, their school plays, their tears. I thought giving money was enough. But love is not counted in dollars. Love is in the moments shared, in the hands held, in the words spoken. Now, all I have are memories and silence. One day, I found a box hidden under the stairs. Inside were letters from my children, old letters filled with love and hope. But the latest ones were different, cold, empty. Words like burden and shame stared back at me. I cried that night, not for myself, for the family I lost, for the children who forgot their father. Chapter 6. To those who listen. If you are listening to my story now, please hear me. I am not just an old man forgotten by his children. I am a father who loved beyond words. I am a man who gave everything and asked for nothing in return. I know many of you have families too. Maybe you struggle to balance work and love. Maybe you worry if your children understand how hard you try. Or maybe you are like me, left alone, wondering where your family went. My story is not just mine. It is the story of many parents, many immigrants, many people who came to this land hoping for a better life. I want you to remember this. No matter how busy life gets, no matter how far your children grow, never forget to hold them close. Never forget to say, I love you. Never forget to be there, not just in body, but in heart. Because in the end, money and success mean little without love. If my children could hear me now, I would tell them, I forgive you. But I hope they also learn to never leave someone behind, to care for those who cared for you first, to honor the sacrifices that made their lives possible, to cherish family above all. To those who still have their parents, hug them. Tell them you love them today. Don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow is never promised. Thank you for listening to my story. May we all find kindness, love, and respect in our families.